So what is AWS SQS? So AWS SQS is a fully managed message queuing service offered by AWS. When we say fully managed, it means we don't need to worry about the infrastructure, scaling, everything will be managed by AWS. And the next one is it allows different component of system to communicate with each other by sending messages. And it also follows the producer consumer module where one component sends the message to the queue and the other consumer will just retrieve that message from the queue. So it's like a producer and consumer type of model. So if you look at this diagram, it will give you the basic idea of how the SQS will work. In SQS, there will be the producer who will publish the message and put it in the queue, and there will be the consumer who will retrieve the message from the queue. So this is the general idea of how the SQS will look. So first we will logging into the AWS console and we will create a simple queue service. So I have already logged into my AWS console, and in the search I can just type simple queue service and click it. And once you are here, you can create queue, and you just need to give the name of the queue. So let's say test queue, and we have two types. One is a standard and one with a FIFO, but for this video we will go with the standard one. So we have this configuration where we can set some configuration like visibility timeout, a message retention period, delivery delay, and so on. We will get into those settings later so that you will clearly understand what those settings will do. Then we have encryption, which we leave as it is. Same with access policy and everything, including this state letter queue. And we will just create a queue. So now we have created a new queue. We name test queue, and over here the most important thing is the URL, because when we will be working in the CSharp application we will be using this URL. But let's do something first. So with this queue, let's create send and receive message, and let's send some message. So we can send any message. It can be JSON or it can be a simple plain text. So let's say maybe let's say good afternoon and send message. Okay, so we have sent one message to the queue. Let's send another message. Good afternoon, Sanz. How are you? And we can even set the delivery delay. So delivery delay can be set between 0 seconds to 15 minutes. So what it does is, like it just delay your message to the queue. So sometimes you don't want to immediately available the message that you send. You want to just delay the message for some reason. Then you can do that by setting those the delay over here. Like I can say like 10-second delay and then send message. Now when we poll for a message, what it will does it will pull all those messages that are in the queue. So let's do that. So it's pulling the two messages. So if you look at this message ID, if you open, you will see this is the second message, and you can check the attributes. Currently there is nothing. In detail you can see the message size is up to 6 bytes, date, ID, and if you check another one, that must be the first message that we send. If you check yes. So in simply we can see the queue is storing all those messages that we have sent. So when we again poll for messages, you can see the receive count is 2. So it's the same message that we retrieve from the queue, and the receive count has now increased from 1 to 2. So when we poll for a message, it will just pull the messages. It won't delete. It will stay over there depending upon the settings that we have set for the queue. You go back to the test queue, and if you edit in the configuration, you notice this message retention period. So when we create it, by default it's like a 4 days, which means whatever message that you publish or push to the queue, it will stay there for 4 days, and after that it will be deleted from the queue. Alright, let's play with SQS to the coding. So let's create a new solution. So I'm using a rider. So I'm creating a new solution, and I'll creating a new project in that solution. So the solution, the project name, I will call it play with SQS and publisher. And this project will be using to publish the message to the SQS queue. And this will be the .NET Core create. We have now this new project which is called play with SQS.publisher. So to make the thing easy, what I will do is I have already written up some code, so I'll just copy paste the code over here. So you can see there are so many error, compile errors. So what we first need to do is to play with the SQS, we need to install a NuGet package. So we will start with installing the NuGet package. Manage NuGet packages over here. So SQS, and this is the one that we need. So let's install it. So I'm installing the latest version of SQS. Install. So once it's installed, we will go line by line. So first, we are creating the new credential profile store chain. I'm using this code where I'm passing this profile in my Ariana. So my Ariana, if you remember, when I log into SQS, AWS Console, you can see the same my Ariana. So this is the profile that I'm using. So over here, I'm doing the same. So I'm using this profile, and when you do or where AWS credential, then over this variable we will get the credentials. And why we are doing this? Because to play with the SQS client, what we need to do is we need to create a new Amazon SQS client. So if you go with the new Amazon SQS client, if you press F12, we need the credential in the region. And this AWS credential we can get from here using this one. So if you run this code, it will return the AWS credential which we can pass over here. And the next thing we need is the region. So I'm in the Sydney, so I'll be using region AP Southeast 2. And with Rider also you can install the plugin. So I have this AWS toolkit. If you press it over here, you can see it will list all the profile. So this is the profile that I'm using, and it's using this region Sydney, which is AP Southeast 2, which we are using over here as well. So to get this plugin, what you can do is you can easily go to plugin, and in the marketplace you can just search for AWS, and you will find this AWS toolkit which you can install. I have already installed it, so it's easy. So once you have that tool, you can also play with whatever service you have in your AWS. So let's go back to our SQS code. I'll close it. This is the main thing. So we are creating the SQS client, right? And once we get this SQS client, what we need to do is we need to call this message, send message asynchronously. So when you go with this one again, you'll see this will need to send message request, and this cancellation token, which is by default we are passing the default cancellation token, so we don't need to worry about that one, but we need to pass this request. So for that, what I'm doing is I'm creating this request, send message request, where you need to pass the queue URL in the message body. So the queue URL is the URL of the queue. So if you go to your AWS, so this is the URL. So you just need to copy this one and you can paste it over here. And the message body is the message that you want to publish. So it's not necessary that it need to be pure string. You can pass it a JSON data also if you want. But for simplicity, I'm passing the plain text over here. So once we set up this, like send message request, what we can do is we can call this method send message asynchronously and send the request, and this will then publish your message into the SQS queue. And over here, I'm writing some message like a write line, like a log, like a message sent with a message ID. And if you successfully publish the message, it will give you the message ID. So I'm writing over here. So enough talking now. So let's put the breakpoint and let's see if that will work. So press the debug, put the breakpoint and just debug this project and let's see what will happen. So it's building now. I can see the breakpoint has been hit now, and you can see it's giving the credential. So I'm passing the credential, QURL, message ID, and the QURL, the URL of the queue, body, message, and this is where our message will be published. Okay, so we are getting some exception here. They say the specified queue doesn't exist. The specified queue doesn't exist. So let's check it out. Why the specified queue doesn't exist? So press this one. Nice, interesting. So let me check why this one doesn't exist. So go back to this queue, refresh. Let me see if I copy the right queue URL. So I copy the URL again. And let me see. And let's see if that URL is the same one. Alright, see. So I'm using the wrong queue which doesn't exist. So it should be test queue, not Sanz queue. So you can see I'm getting the error because of the wrong URL. So it's good that we are getting the error message. So let me comment out that line for now and let's rerun this project again. Okay, same process. Getting the queue, we change the queue URL now and boom. See, this time we didn't get any error, and in the response we also get the ID. So this is the message ID that has been published to the queue. So I'm writing the message like message sending message ID. Now if you go back to this queue and let's send and receive and poll for message just to check if we have. So if we look at this message, I'm pretty sure this is the one, because if you look at the date, this is the one that I have just pushed in the state. So my message from CSharp code. So that's the exact message that we have published. So my message from CSharp code. So cool. So we can see it's working. Okay, let's try to send another message just to test if it is working as what it is supposed to be working. So let's try with the Android message. So let's change this message with my second message through code. Debug it with the message sent, right? So if you go back to the console and if we pull the message, you can see, so this is the previous message, but we should be expecting the Android message. So let's try. Okay, so receive call one. So this should be the one. So if you look at the message ID C3B299, C3B299. So this is the one. So my second message through code. So which means our code is working as expected. So with this code, we can, like simply publish the message in the SQS. So one more thing. So if you look at the message, you can see size, receipt count, and if you open, you have this body where you pass a message. But there is an attribution tab which is empty at the moment. So we can use this attribute tab to like send some method. For example, what we can do is in the same code, if you go over here, you can see there is message attribute, the same one that we have seen in the console. So at the moment it's empty, but we can pass the message attribute over here to set the message attribute. So what we can do is simply we need to create a new message attribute. So before we set here, what we can do is we say message attribute equals to new. So the message attribute, if you go to 12, it will be like dictionary and string message attribute value. So we will need this thing, right? So go back. So this will be like new dictionary. Here, what in the dictionary, we need the two things. We need a string and a message attribute value. So let's say we say this message, let's set a priority as a key string, and in the message attribute, let's say new message attribute value, and let's say data type equal to number, and string value equal to I provide the message like a 1, right? So now we can just pass this message attribute. Now when we do that and send message, this should also set the message attributes. This is like a metadata. So let's try. What we will do is my term message to put with attribute, right? And let's run it. Okay, FE2. So if you go back again to here, full message, full message again, it should be, yeah, FE2C, this is the one. If you go over here, you can see in the attribute now it's a priority, it's a number, and value is 1, and body my term message to code with attribution. So you can see through CSharp code we can easily publish our message. It is not necessary it can be a simple plain text, it can be a JSON data also, but using that simple code we can easily publish the code into the SQS tool. Now the next thing what we will do is we'll be creating the Android project, but that project, what it will do is it will pull the message from the queue. So currently we are going to the console and we pull the message to retrieve the message. But instead of doing that, we will create a new project and pull the message from the queue. So let's do it. So okay, so let's go to new project now, add new project, and it will be again the console one. and I will call it player with SQS, and that will be the receiver or consumer. You can name whatever you want. I'll call it a receiver plate, and same thing. What we first need to do is we need to install the NuGet package, call SQS, install. Once it's done, what we need to do is we can copy paste the code over here because we'll be doing the same thing in the receiver, slightly different, but it's almost same. So I will remove this one, delete, and add the reference for this one as well. Name is in version endpoint, right? And what we need next is we need to retrieve from SQS client. So what I will do is I will create a new cancellation token source so that we can do this, which is while not cancel token source is cancellation requested. That means it will keep running, otherwise while, right? So that means the code will keep running until this one is cancelled. So over here, what we will be doing is we will need, let's say response await SQS client dot receive message asynchronously, and it will need, so if you go F12, this will require receive message request. Okay, let's create this one. So maybe I'll create this one outside the loop. So receive message request, we can new receive message request, right? And again, I think this will require queue URL. This is message button one. We will do this one, right? And I think I don't need that one. I can simply pass this one over here. I hope this will work. And once we have that message and response messages, we can simply right line that message. So here is the message. So we'll use a string interpolation so that we can do this message. That message ID, comma, and message dot body. Right. So here is the message with message ID equal to this one, and message body equal to this one. Right. Easy. So let me double check. Okay, 12 message body, we don't need that one. Remove. Right. So let's see if that will work. So let's put the breakpoint F9, debug, spelling, let's wait, F10, URL, wait, publisher, nah, this one. So we need to select the receiver. So we are choosing the wrong one, so okay, not that. Let's go back to receiver. Yeah, we select the receiver now. We put the breakpoint over here, right? Everything is same. Here, and then yes, status code. Yeah, nice. So if we press F5, let's see what it will print in the console. Come on. No. Yeah, okay. So you can see here is the message. So it's pulling all the messages. My third message to the code, my second message to the code, good afternoon. So these are the all messages in the queue. And good afternoon. Yep. Yep. Cool. So it's pulling all the messages that we have in the queue. Awesome. And one thing, like when we pull from a message, that doesn't mean it will delete the message from the queue. You have to delete the message either through the code, or there are two options. You can go to the console, and if you go to the test queue, you'll see this message purge. So when you use this message, when you use this option, it will delete all those messages within the queue. So let's try it. So if you press purge, let's say purge, purge, right? And now when you send and receive message, you will not get any, because you have deleted everything, all the messages from the SQS queue. So there is nothing to show, right? So we can use that option, purge. And the next thing we can do is if you want to delete the individual message to the code, we can also do that. So for that, what we can do is, let's first go back to the code, and let's first publish one message, because at the moment there is no message. So go to the publisher again, and let's run the same code so that we have at least one message in the queue, right? This one. And let me try to add another one as well. Play, so that we have now a couple of messages. So you can verify that again from here. Send a message received, poll, and you will now have two new messages. You can see the receipt count is now 1. So that is, there are two messages. This is brand new, and we are just pull just once, right? So if you need to pull the message again from the queue, this time go back to the queue. You can go to the receiver and you can run this one. It will pull the message, but what we are interested is, we want to delete the message after we pull. So we can say console.writeLine, deleting the message ID. Yes, so let's say we are deleting the message ID, and over here what we can do is, we can again SQS client dot delete messaging. So we can use this one, and for this one you need the queue URL which you have using, and SQL. And receive handle, okay. And the cancellation token, I think we don't need to. Okay, so you need to pass the two things. So what you can do is, you can pass the queue URL, and the next thing is maybe the message that receive handle, right? So let's try with this code if that will work or not. Okay, right. Let's put the breakpoint. See, wait, let's see the receiver, not the publisher. And did I forget to add the breakpoint? Deleting the message ID, this one, this one. Anyway, I don't need to because I think it has deleted. So let's try if it has already deleted. So let me try calling the full form messages, and I should not get any message because that should be deleted now. So yes, that's correct. And let's try to run the code again. Let's see what will happen. So press the F9 button and let's stop. Select the receiver, stop, debug, and let's see. Okay, then response and message that you can see there is no message, it's 0, right? This means the message has been deleted with this one. So this is the another way of deleting a message from the queue. And also you remember when we create the queue, we have set some settings. So if you go to the edit, you can have this message retention period, which means whatever message that you have published to the queue, it will remain as per the like setting you have. For this one, it will store the message for 4 days, and after 4 days, that will be gone. It will be deleted. So it's pretty easy, and I hope this will be good enough to have your basic knowledge of what is SQS and how you can integrate that to the CSharp coding. And if you really like this video, please share this video with your CSharp developer or anyone who's interested to learn the SQS. And if you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe my channel and like this video. And thank you so much for your time, and I will see you soon in my next video. Bye.